Okay.
Close.
Who is a functional medicine practitioner and author, a best-selling author. We have Arturo Ramirez Molina and Yao Copalcin. And they are ancestral medicine man and medicine woman from Mexico. We have Flavia Sierra, who is a quantum healer, angel healer. Joanna Vega, who's a doctor in Ayurveda and also a biomagnetist. Sami Pauli, who does healing with angels. And Stephanie Hudgens-White from Canada, who's joining us as a holistic nutrition coach. So I'm so grateful for each of you for coming here today, and for the other speakers who weren't able to join us, but that certainly contributed their time to speaking at the conference. And so today we're dedicated this to the topic of depression because we know that perhaps at this time, so many more lives are being impacted through many losses, be them from losing a loved one to the loss of a job to the loss of changes in their life, right? A lot of changes. There's been changes for so many people, self-included, right? And so we wanted to touch on this very important topic that we feel is timely. Always is, but perhaps more than in a very long time. So thank you all for joining us here today.
So I'd like to open it for anyone who wants to join first. How would you, because there's this definition, there's the official definition, and actually I was looking at the American Psychiatric Association, and the answer they provide for depression is it's a major depressive disorder, a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Fortunately, they say, it's also treatable. Depression causes feelings of sadness and or a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability to function at work and at home. Do you consider it the most broad definition for depression, or you think it's so much more? How would you describe your own experience treating depression?
Well, I could definitely jump in, but I want to give opportunity to other of the speakers to also share their points of view regarding this very serious definition.
Okay.
Okay, I guess I'm going to jump in.
Yes.
I'll jump.
I would. Okay, wonderful.
I'll jump with you, Gaia.
Dr. Pat, jump in, please.
Don't be shy, please.
Well, you know, I've treated thousands of people throughout many years, and sometimes I've seen people's depression, you know, look normal, like very normal behavior. And when people said, you know, they were depressed, and if people who I would know them, I wouldn't classify them by that definition because we all have different triggers and that set us off. But what I know to be true straight across the board is in the gut-brain connection, food is directly related to how you feel. And people eat based upon sometimes their emotion as opposed to eating really for their health. So changing that pattern is really important to, you know, to addressing, you know, depression. So I think it's a much broad, I think that's a very good definition, but I think that it applies to people who fit in the box. There's people who don't fit in the box, right? And the people who don't fit in the box are the ones that kind of get lost in the, you know, on the outside, where they don't really have any glue of where to bring them to. And which could be from a lot of different reasons. It could be from, you know, their environment. It could be from the thoughts that they're thinking about their environment. You know, it could be from a trauma that's never been resolved. And so there's a lot that I think that we have to take a look at.
And actually, they do mention some of these origins or reasons. They include biochemistry, genetics, personality, and environmental factors. And I would dare to say that the environment has a lot to do in the recent, disorder of depression due to what is going on in the world. So I don't know if you agree with me that there's this new, I don't know if I should call it a breed of depression going on due to the different,
it's an epidemic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You have a lot of people who, had a life before. We've had a change in our rules for existing on the planet, in some countries more so than others. And so, when you suddenly are put in a state of fear all the time, you're technically, in some instances, in some studies I've read, the cerebral spinal fluid along the spine does not go up and down very well because the pelvis is locked and the pelvis is tucked. You can see that in animals that are fearful. So they make you fearful of everything. And then you get confused, and confused buyers, they always have that saying, confused buyers don't buy. So you have a whole group of people who are paralyzed. They have paralyzed will. They can't get past that. And, and they don't see what the solution is. So if you're in a state of confusion, you never see what the solution is. And you keep on, doing the same, like the Einstein definition of insanity. You keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And you think you're like, but I'm not getting any farther. And so some things specifically have to change. Right?
I would definitely agree with that. Yeah. I think that one, psychiatry and psychology, and of course this is my field of study for many years, but I think putting people in boxes doesn't help people get better. Anytime you put a person in a box, there is a story behind every human being. And in order to be able to help each person overcome a depression, we really have to meet them at their life experience, both at the conscious level and very much more at the unconscious level, because behind every depression, there can be so.
We are kind of losing you, Gaia.
Factors that aren't on them with medication or with something, some kind of therapy at a conscious level is only going to get them this far. But really delving in more into the unconscious and what it is that as humans we're drawn.
Okay.
I would respond and react to certain situations. Part of that.
Yes, it was breaking a little bit. So I'm sure that since we've heard this already, so I'm eager to hear about your take from your own practice. So there are energy fields, and we love this. We love including these other realms of manifestation of this is where we think that illnesses are created, and we want to hear about you who treat those with those therapies, the energetic fields, and know about some other origins aside from the ones we heard and the ones that Dr. Pat mentioned. And so we'd like to hear from you, like from what does perhaps the Ayurvedic science have to say about it. So maybe Johanna, you want to tell us?
Yes. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for having me here. Such a pleasure. From the Ayurvedic perspective, and I think something very important before I jump in, just to add to what the other ladies were saying, is that usually depression is carried much more time in advance than we think. It's very asymptomatic. It's a very long step-by-step process to get to the symptomatic stage. That's when the person is officially diagnosed and when it's recommended to start taking some kind of therapies or medication. But it's a long process that starts from the person by homeostasis trying to adapt to situations. So this is what we call in everyday life stress. So how we deal with stress throughout life, which it starts since childhood or even earlier, even as birth. These are situations in life that as human beings we're going through every year after year, growing with it and caring and just taking all the reactions and taking the best way possible to adapt to these lifestyles or changes or things that life throws at us. So with that, when we hit a point of maybe emotional breakdown, that's mostly when it's declared you are depressed. However, even way before, there's manifestations or minor symptoms that we might live every day like no big deal, like headaches, like insomnia. Like we have so many things, clues that is telling us that maybe we are about to reach a breakout point. So that's something important to take into consideration, that when you have any health issues, always look at your emotional state first. And that's what Ayurveda does. When a person has a physical complaint, we look through the emotions, we see the lifestyle, we see a timeline to identify the root of the problem. And that's the only way that we can really treat a problem that is developing into something more serious, which eventually will develop into many other emotions that can lead to the suicide. And that's the worst of all. That's the ultimate step that we don't want anyone to fall into. So it's a long process of identification of emotional intelligence, but also the physical part is our clue to understand that there's something wrong. And again, it's something as basic as body aches or not sleeping well or digestive problems, things like that.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going like with no particular order. I hope you bear with me. I would love to hear. I'm just trying to connect because I'm eager to hear from all of you. So please, I want to ask a little patience, but I like to hear from our fellow friends from Mexico, Arturo and Gloria, who are in Puebla, and they work with ancient medicine. They've been working with all the indigenous practices that have thousands and thousands of years, as well as the same as Ayurvedic science. So I'd like to hear a little bit, both Arturo and Gloria. Thank you for being, they represent the ancient part of our association. So we're glad to have you here.
Tlazocamati Nalmomawitzutzin. No toca Arturo Ramírez. No toca Oselocosca Chutlet Soleme. Good day in the Turtle Island or their land surrounded by water. My name, Castel, my normal name, social name, is Arturo Ramírez. My native name, according to the Tonalpowali, Tonalamat, some people call it, or the counting of the energies our ancestors used to do, and my walking in the red road is Jaguar Necklace, Maker of Fire. So, well, thank you for the invitation. My duality later on, she will speak a little bit, but she does prefer that I do it in English. I don't know why, even though she's the teacher. So, but well, depression. In our particular way of view, in the native way of viewing, well, we can say a lot, because it has been around 500 years of getting us into a box to all the native people. They put us in reservations. They killed us. So yes, we know quite a bit, but there is something that in the way that we say and we see the world and our cosmovision is that Daya was helping me with that phrase the other day, is what was handled for me to live. What it was meant for me to live, I don't know how to say it quite right, is lo que me tocó vivir. That's our way of, the way that we see it. So what we do, when we know that there's this situation, the only thing that we do is just keep going. We try to be the conquerors of our own. There is what we call in the center of Mexico or the center of America, Guerra Florida, flourish, war. That means conquer yourself. So to have depression, yes, there are some cases down here with us, but it's kind of weird because we're in contact with the nature all the time. We're in contact with all the spirits surrounding us. We're in contact with the great Unkashila, Wankatanka, Unaku, God, however you called it, dual energy, creator. We are in contact with that all the time. All our sins, all our prayers, trying to get in contact with everything. So in that moment, when we get in contact with everything, and all our rituals are the same. Inipi, sweat lodge, however you want to call it, peyote ceremonies, tipi peyote ceremonies, or Wirradika style ceremonies of peyote, or any other sacred plant ceremonies that we do. I mean, in the correct way of doing it, of course, not with those people that they do weird things with the ancestral plants. Well, we get connected with everything, with the whole. I don't know if I'm being myself quite clear in this aspect. So that's what gives us the strength to support and overcome all those feelings, all those situations, because we will know that we are not individual beings. That's a lie, a huge lie. In Latin, they will say fallacia ad ignorantum. And yes, I do a little bit of Latin as well. So this lie is that we are individual beings. We're not. We must depart from the point that we are not individuals. We are part of a whole. Whatever happens to me will affect to my duality in some way, in some other way to Flavia or to Kike, or even to the China guy that is in the market buying right now another bat to eat in a soup. Everything's gonna affect it in some major or minor way. So in order that when we understand that we are part of a whole, which depression that we're gonna have? You know, because we are part of a something bigger, greater, and that was handled to us to live. We will understand that. And that way, I don't gonna feel blue. I'm just gonna wake up in the morning and say, thank you, Wankatanka, thank you, Nkashila, thank you, God, for being alive, for being here. I know that I have something to do in this plane, in this time. And this is what was handled to me to live. I need to do so and to be the best warrior, because the real warrior is not that one that kills and not the enemy. The greater warrior is the one that conquers himself. That's the greater warrior. So that's some of our cosmovision. I don't know if my duality has something to see. I'm gonna let her talk because even if I continue, I will go on all day.
Okay, just before that, just reminding you that some of us here and others have their own particular talks on the same topic, which are in the Congress, in the virtual Congress. You can hear all of them if you go now to the website, to IAAAM, that is IAAAM.net, on events, and you'll be able to listen to each one of our guests tonight. So we strongly encourage you to go there and learn more about each one of our specialists here. Okay, Gloria.
Well,
yes.
Thank you for inviting us to join today's talk. Well, most of the important part, Arturo has told it. I just want to add that with native people here, at least in my community, where I live is Nialtican, Puebla. It's a community near the Volcano. Most of the people is always busy doing their things in the fields. They are most of people agricultures. And because we are in touch, although we have lots of problems sometimes, loss of some family members, and maybe we have problems with economy or things, but we usually equilibrate that part, because as you know, most people in Mexico are very party people. So if we are sad, if we are blue, we have a party with the neighbors, with the family, a group of mariachis singing, people dancing, even people drinking. And that aspect of happiness somehow equilibrates the sadness part, the stressful part. So although it is just a small part of happiness, of chanting, dancing, I think that equilibrates people. So if they were very, very, very sad, when they start to chant or start to dance, usually they change that problem, that state of mind, and they become like more equilibrated. I want to say that although this happens in my community, in the town, in the small town, that doesn't happen in the cities, because in cities it's more difficult these days to have many people united because of the COVID. If somebody is doing some party, the same neighbors go to police and tell them, my neighbors are happy. So that problem is more for the cities, I think. But what I see is when people is not equilibrated, when there is a disorder between the mind, the body, and the soul, when they are not connected with the old, they start not only with physical symptoms or problems, but also in the mind. And the emotions are the most important for this kind of depression problems. So I will invite you, when you feel blue, when you feel like there is nothing to do, just go away in the nature, breathe the clean air, feel the sun in your body, and admire the nature, admire the flowers, admire the trees, even people, observe people, and see how there is other people with a lot more problems than you, that you are alive, that you can breathe, that you can listen, you can see, you can taste. And that is a big, big blessing. So you don't have why to be blue, because there is people with more problems and they still fight and overcome from that problem. Thank you.
We thank you so much, Gloria, because every time we hear you guys, it's like we remember what's important, the importance of connecting and reconnecting with our Mother Earth, which is in one of the basic messages of all of our Aboriginals who always they keep that, they're guardians of that message and all that path of going back to the roots. So please bear with me. I feel like I'm trying to keep up, with all the important messages that you have for us tonight. Just remember that you can check all of our guests tonight on the Congress, and this is just a small fraction of the message that they want to convey. So at this point, I'd like to invite Stephanie. Stephanie is in Canada. She's a holistic and nutrition coach and wellness stylist. So Stephanie, you are at the other side, you're on top of the world map. So how do you see this situation, and from your point, from your neck of the woods, the way they say.
From my neck of the woods, yes.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much for having me here and inviting me to be here tonight and to be part of this Congress. And I love what Gloria just said about being connected to nature, because that's one of the pieces when I work with my clients is talking about the mind, the body, and the spirit. I mean, they can't exist separately. We can never just talk about, I mean, I always talk about gut health and how its connection with the brain. We started off talking about that, and how important nutrition is. But at the same time, I'm always telling my clients, and it's almost out of the gate, the very first thing I have them do is go out in nature and sit under a tree and enjoy themselves and breathe and really connect and ground themselves. Because if they do that, then they can actually start digesting the beautiful food that they have decided to make for themselves. It's going to motivate them to absorb that food. They're not going to be in fight or flight, as Joanna was mentioning earlier. They're going to absorb the nutrients from their body because their hormones aren't completely, the cortisol isn't elevated. They're not suffering from estrogen dominance. And one of the things that I am seeing right now a lot of is kidney issues, because the kidney is all about connection, and the kidney is about us being with people. It's about us being together. And connecting, and that when we start to feel, really at this time of year, when we start to feel extra cold and our hands get cold and our feet get cold, that's a big sign for us that our kidneys are yelling at us and giving us that symptom that Joanna was talking about, when our body throws us symptoms and signs that something is a little off, and it's that connection piece that we're missing. So when we ground ourselves and put our feet on the ground, on the earth, and we really breathe in the air that's around us, when we fuel our body with really good nutrition, our body is able to absorb the minerals and the nutrients. That's where then our nervous system calms down and everything falls into line and everything works so much better. And that's what I find when women are confused and frustrated and dealing with brain fog and restlessness and not sleeping well. Because I work with women that are 40 plus, that they're dealing with a lot of those symptoms. And so when I'm able to pair the nutrition with the connection, then they start to see the snowball starts to turn, and they start to feel better, and their eyes almost open up, and they start to feel more awake, and then they feel more motivated. And so it's the same side when they are dealing with depression, when they're feeling super sad and they're feeling really confused and lost. If they can ground themselves and absorb that beautiful food, then it's incredible how quickly they can turn their feeling of their self-worth around. And I'm a big believer that the brain is a battery and that it needs recharging. So that's why I'm always encouraging people to recharge that brain, take a break, reconnect yourself to earth, and fuel your body with some deep nutrition. So that's what I like to that's where I come from when I'm dealing with anybody that's feeling a little extra sad. That is the piece that they're missing, is that connection and then absorbing their food properly.
Thank you, Stephanie. And I know you also, you make an emphasis on the on age groups as well. And you say that after 40, this tends to increase, no? Like many other things. So it's important to have that in mind. Please feel free to comment on anything that you've been listening to, if anyone wants to add or to any, because I will go with each one of you, but if you feel that something has resonated from what you've heard and you want to comment and you want to join or jump in with anything you want to say, please feel free. I'm just trying to orchestrate this right now. So who else? Well, I'll go in order. I'll have Flavia. Flavia wants to say.
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Kike. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I will, first of all, thank all of you that have already shared and your knowledge and all. And specifically, I would say the beautiful way Gloria put all this situation in terms of connection and the love she uses to share. She's so inspiring. So I really want to thank you all, but in terms of connection and the way she talks about nature and how, that's exactly in terms of energy, which people who know me know it's my passion, all the impact of the energy in our lives. I want to invite people who listens to this or watch this to really get what they feel through the message that Gloria specifically talking about connection gave. because one of the most important things in order for us, I am mentor for self-healing. So I'm so, always like so passionate about and suggesting and recommending people how to be aware of how they feel with situations, good situations and bad situations, because we live in a world, with that duality in that era, which is good and bad. So just be aware of how you feel. The more you connect with sensations and you bring your awareness to the way you feel and what are the things that make you feel good, like just by imagining what Gloria shared, right? Or the people that has been talking about connecting with nature and insist, that's basic, because most diseases, including depression, all of the diseases come from disconnections in some way, not only from nature, but these family disconnections, emotional disconnections, spiritual disconnections. The depression, as many others, because they can become like really hard to cure. And I always put these question marks, because there's no such thing as hard, strictly speaking, when you really give that holistic approach. You can do that. And that's the first thing I want to tell people. When you think something is hard to do, then just feel that energy just by the thought that it's hard. It might take time, but start thinking that anything is possible, because we are getting into that era where really anything is possible. And the only thing, Kike started, this amazing program, reading the definition of depression that is there somewhere. And I really believe many definitions, and we are going to have, during this era, new definitions for many things. Because I respect that definition, but that's too old. And that's just one part of what I think really depression is. So I want to bring just the awareness of people that there are more things contagious than diseases in terms of how we know them. Thoughts are very contagious, emotions are very contagious, and there is where most of the talking about depression, the way we feed things and emotions and diseases with our thoughts and emotions is way more, I don't say more important, but it's way more, it has more impact than the food, because it has been proven, right? They have been talking about, Dr. Pat and Stephanie, about the food, and it's important, but most people still pays attention just to food, but they are not paying attention to their thoughts and their feelings, because they didn't teach them, right? They didn't taught us to do that. So I don't want to extend very much right now, but I have had a lot of experience with myself, analyzing myself and learning with myself and sharing with my clients and students the importance of getting what they are thinking, because that's a process, that's an automatic process. And most of the times people don't even know what they are thinking. And the origin of that energy and all the energy working around us in our energy fields is impacted by our thoughts. So that's a good way to start, because when you get what you are thinking, you now learn how you are feeding that emotion or that symptom. And then from that, of course, energy, and supported by some neuroscience experiments right now that at least we have, that's amazing. That's the impact. So that's a way to help, And when I have been depressed, I was depressed for many years, and I didn't even notice it, and I didn't knew it. It was not like that bad, right? But because of somebody said, sometimes you don't know, because you are just going on, and you go ahead and you are positive and you continue, but that doesn't mean you are okay. That's a silent disease sometimes. So, but with this, you can help. When you are feeling really bad, there's nothing people tell that can make you, if you say, yeah, think positive, then it's like magic. It's not like magic sometimes. It's not like that. It takes time, but it helps. It helps, and that's what we do here with that holistic approach. And they mention it also as a whole, right? We are a whole, and it's very important to heal as a whole. So that basically it. Thank you so much, and I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you, Flavia. We're happy to have you too.
Thank you.
So we're gonna go with Sammy, and after that, we're gonna ask each one of you to try to convey your final message as we are reaching the hour. So please have that in mind, and also a little bit of what your talk is about, so people can know how, you know, what to do if they want to listen more. So I will encourage you to do that. So we go with Sammy, and after that, it's going to be all about wrapping up with our most important message.
Well,
Sammy.
thank you so much, Kike, and I feel honored to be invited and share this panel with these amazing people. You say, let's talk if something vibrate with you. Well, so far I got notes for everybody, because everybody vibrates, and everybody had put a little bit of everything. Funny thing, then we are here because I was preparing my notes through these weeks just to put together the video. Then is right now in IAAAM. So if you can go and check the whole videos for everybody. And I was depressed. I was very depressed. And I asked to the angels, because I talk to the angels. That's my practice. And the angel says, well, how are you going to teach if you don't cure yourself? So let's check it out. Let's see if the theory really works. So I say, okay, so I'm seeing here. And as Flavia was saying, so beautiful, your thoughts and your emotions are contagious. And I had something that says, your issues are in your tissues. Everything starts by a thought. Everything, the creation starts by a thought. And that thought, especially when you are living in a third dimension, as we do, it starts here. And that thought, it creates an emotion. When it creates an emotion, it's releasing the neurotransmitters to your body, good or bad. How is helping or not helping your body? So either you're stressed, you feel bad, you feel helplessness, or you feel good, you feel empowered, and you want to do things. So when at that point is reaching on your physical body, also is reaching your energetical body. So I find out the way to work it out. And I was saying, well, how can I work it out? And they say, well, let's change the thought. But how you are going to change the thought when you are all depressed and you don't feel like you want to stand up? So I start working with music, and that's the moment that we come. And I wanted to quote on Gloria on that, the dancing, the chanting. And for me, the way to get out of depression is start by getting that thought, that emotion, then comes into connection when you were okay, because you were not depressed all your life. It was a moment that you live at the full. You live 100%. You're happy. You want to jump. You want to dance. You're there all the way. So you just need to call that memory and bring that memory into this moment. Then it's totally unrelated of what's going on in your life. But since you got the memory, you start feeling it. So I start dancing, and this is what the angels are treating. And I invite you to check all these videos in English and Spanish. Go enter to IAAAM Association to see all these panelists, and it's amazing. But I start with my music. So I say, I don't care what music it is. I don't care if it's rock metal. I don't care if it's reggaeton. I don't care if it's hip hop. I don't care if it's Om Shanti Shanti. I really don't care. It's something that makes you live. So I start looking at my house and I say, I like big house and I cannot lie. My brothers might like the night. And I start jumping around my house and saying, okay, everything that is overwhelming me, I have to start with the music. So that music bring me up. Not specifically that I like big butts, but it was the rhythm. And that's the way then normally I come out. And it's a step by step how you can get out of this depression. But I think that like a person that I really, really admire, Brian Weiss, one time says, if you are in a dark, dark place and just touching a part of an elephant, you're going to describe the elephant. But it's when you open your mind and you open the lights and see everybody's, or you can get together all these concepts and you can see the elephant itself. So the same way I see all the colleagues that I have in here, we all have a part of this elephant that is called healing the depression. So healing the depression is not only one way, it has many ways. And it might work for you to dance and go around the house or singing some stupid song or watching, God knows, Austin Powers. I love Austin Powers because you take your brain out and you laugh. And it might work for you, or it might work really a homeopathic healing or something like that. So I invite all of you to check all the videos and see how it can work for you and can help you on it. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And certainly having you, Sammy, in the association and doing shows with you is certainly a therapy, because you bring so much joy. You should check Sammy's show. We do a lot of dancing in there, so it's so much fun. And I think it's about that. It's we felt like the infectious, energy of joy and this beautiful encounter just brings us, lifts us up, just to have you here. So we want to remind you that also we have shows on a regular basis, weekly shows with some of you, and you're always invited. If you want to produce your own show, you can do it with us at IAAAM. So we will be happy to work with you in doing so. Okay, our final messages. Gaia just stepped in again. You're back. You're at home now. So you want to start with you, the final round of messages, Gaia?
Well, I think that in a nutshell, from what everyone has shared here today, the sense that, one, in order to be able to really heal depression, we need to look at the different aspects of who we are, not just our emotions, but also how we are influenced physically, be it through nutrition, be it through our environment, be it through our connection with the earth, and where our health is also with the universe, with God. Where is our connection to something beyond us, so that we feel that we are not alone, that we really are connected to something greater, whether it's to our community, to our tribe, to our family, to God, or the sun. And so understanding that we are not alone ever. But when we have that, when we have those pieces, then we can really truly get to the nitty-gritty of working on our depression, understanding that there's so much more to just the here and now, that there's a whole story behind us that we bring in, right? And when we can look at all of these different aspects, then we can really, help ourselves to pull out of this. And I would definitely say that, yes, labels exist, but I invite people to think of yourself not as depressed. Think of yourself as where you are right now, and try to avoid putting a label on yourself, because when we assert a label, it's almost like we're bringing it into being and keeping it in a state. So I tell my clients this all the time. Okay, you were diagnosed with X, Y, and Z. Let's think of that in terms of what you were previously diagnosed with. No longer own it, because to be able to get out of it, you have to disown it. You have to let it go. You have to be willing to part ways with it, so that you can then heal and really move forward. So I just wanted to add that.
Okay, thank you, Gaia. And just so we can know how to find you, it's good that you mentioned your Instagram handle or anything, so people can remember. Gaia, yours is the Magnet Lady with an extra Y. Right?
On Instagram, the Magnet Lady with an extra Y, and then my website is themagnetlady.net with one Y.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the second one was Dr. Pat. I don't know if you're still, okay, yes. Please turn on the mic.
This is not my forte, like electronics, for sure. And that, I've been listening to everybody, and, Flavia, you mentioned something that's so important, and, everybody had, like in the music, Sammy, it's just like, if you don't move, you're going to die. And so you look at things that are really uplifting and that are motivating for people. So one of the things that people always have a choice of is what they put in their mouth. I said, what types of foods you eat will either feed you and feed the disease, or it will be fixing it. And it will also be a good mindset, and that mindset portion of my definition of health, which includes diet, nutrition, exercise, proper exercise, proper sleep, a positive mental attitude and mindset, and structure, functions, posture. Those are all pieces of the puzzle for being totally healthy. When one of them is out, you've got to figure out what it is, and where it comes from, because we all have triggers. It's just like we all know that, and emotions play such a huge, intense role, whether you're male or female. We all know that if you ever get in an argument, you're not going to digest your dinner, and you're going to stay up all night long. You're going to toss and turn. And, and then we have a tendency, especially women, to ruminate. When we ruminate, we end up being stuck, and then, and then you feel alone because you're thinking, oh, only I'm doing this. And in reality, we all do it. And, and we all have that experience. But it's so wonderful to hear, people talk about in this group, and that I love, and then I work with people also, is that, knowing why people get sick in the first place. They have inflammation, they have trauma, they have toxins from the environment. They have things that, that with the food you eat, the cleaning things that you use in your house, the gardening type of stuff, things that you inhale, like now where I'm at is very muggy and moldy, in this area. So you have these reactions and you think that something else is going on, which could cause how you express yourself, which, the Ayurvedic person, I don't see her in front of me right now.
Johanna.
Yeah, there she goes. Thanks. She made so many really great points about, like identifying what that emotion is, because if you can take the charge off the emotion, you can get better. You can be stronger than medicine. And you can move, and you can, that think better, feel better, and move better, and that's what I help people realize. I help people get out of their own way. Sometimes we're always in our way. I do it myself. And so that people have that ability to, really heal on a cellular level, and take it to, like, with meditation, with all the things that we all put together. We should have a camp that everybody can come to be able to facilitate that. It's really great, and Stephanie does similar work that I do. But I'm really glad to be able to, like, offer some biohacks in my talk that I gave. And also, I have a program coming up called Be Stronger Than Medicine shortly. And I really believe people can be stronger than medicine. You just got to have the pieces of the pie in the right place, as everyone's got the pieces of the pie. It's just the realization that I am better than I really think I am. So thank you very much for letting me be here. It was really great. I really loved it. I really enjoyed tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Pat. And we're looking at your book, right? That's the cover.
Yes, it's called Why Are You Sick, Fat, and Tired? And it is a book that is a guidebook and a workbook and an advocating tool. And it helps people identify where their weakest link is in their health, and helps them find out what their strongest link is. And it lets you know where to put your, like, time, energy, and your money at. And then also to be able to use that. I like the advocating tool portion of that, but it's available on Amazon. But it's a great book because a lot of people know fat. They know if they're tired, but people don't know if they're sick. And if you can identify that before it's a crisis, you're way ahead of the game.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, I believe it was Johanna Vega after you, right? Johanna?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so I would like just to summarize real quick, to leave you with a couple of two thoughts. And number one, and this is with the permission and approval of Stephanie, is to redefine what nutrition is. Because a lot of people think nutrition is just what we eat. And nutrition, we are given as vibrational beings. We're given 5 senses. So it's important from now on that, especially the ones listen to this, to start paying attention. How are you using your 5 senses? What you see, what you eat, what you smell, what you feel. All these 5 senses is how you perceive life. That's how your soul, who came to this body, came to learn, to learn the experience in the more gross physical stage or level or dimension. So with that, just redefine what nutrition is and keep a close eye of everything that is surrounding you, and also understanding that everything is vibration. So with that, just make sure that before you try to do that connection, you understand where you are first. Very important to understand, because everything is around you, everything is vibrating, everything is within you, and you need to first look inside. And once you find you, then you already started that connection. So that's the message I would like to leave with all of you.
Thank you, Johanna. And just as a reminder, you are in Instagram as Johanna, Johanna Vega _Veda Life. Vida. Okay, Vida Life.
In English, yeah. I have it both, Vida Veda in Spanish and Veda Life in English.
Okay, I will make sure after we end that gonna place all the addresses for each one, so people will be able to find you. Thank you so much. Okay, Arturo and Gloria.
Okay, well, just to add what you all have said, I have also like two important things to mention. First, as individuals, if it is us who are feeling blue, who are feeling in depressions, what I can add is that we must have a passion, something what we really love to do. When we do those kind of things like hobbies, believe me, you won't have to be blue. For example, in my case, I really love plants. So whenever I have a problem or I am stressed from job or something, I just go upstairs and I start working in my plants, and I can spend a whole day, 1 hour, 2 hours. And that really, really helps me to connect. But it's because I love plants. That is my hobby. And that is my feeling. But most of people have different feelings, different hobbies. So maybe some people enjoy playing the guitar, or others watching movies or dancing or knitting or embroidering. I don't know, too many things to do. But the most important thing is that thing that you like to do, you must love it, not only like, but love. And when you love doing things, that is your best medicine for you. As all of my partners have said in the area of nutrition, also, if you love some kind of food, whenever you need it, eat it. Don't be afraid that it's going to get you fat, or it's going to get you sick, or it's going to something. But once in a while, you can enjoy that delicious thing that you really like, or listen the kind of music that you want, or I don't know, but just do have a passion, because when you love something, that will help you to be happy in your life. And also, the other thing is, not only you as the patient, as the people with a problem, but if you are a doctor, if you are a therapist, you help the other people. So you can help the other people with all the therapies that you think that people need. When we are sick, usually we say we go to a doctor, but sometimes we don't know what kind of doctor or what kind of therapy is good for us. So it's good that we have this kind of talks, because in this kind of talks we have different knowers of the medicine. We have angels, we have nutrition, we have biomagnetism, we have psychology, we have ancestral medicine. So maybe one person don't believe in angels, but does believe in biomagnetism. And so there is always an option. You feel free to recommend your friends, your people that you know, so in order that the people that needs the cure, that needs the medicine, gets the appropriate medicine for them. And finally, We don't always are happy. That is true. We sometimes are sad. It's not necessary that we are in deep depression, but that little moments, if we don't pay attention, that could take us to depression then. So our medicine, the ancestral, usually works on the prevention. Before we are sick, it's better to prevent. How? Doing these all things that we have been talking about, to be connected, to have a good nutrition, etc. And all of these things that help us is also going to help the other people. So don't be afraid to recommend. Finally, well, I say finally and again, but it's okay, you know. I want to invite you, to all of you, to be attentive to all these kind of talks, because we all have something to share. It doesn't matter where we are, what language we speak, we always have something to share. I have learned a lot of all of you, and I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being helping people. And just that, my partner is going to say the other things. Thank you.
We're delighted to have you, Gloria and Arturo. And just as an extra information, you guys do retreats. You're always doing events. So make sure you visit Pacali Sheripa. We're going to spell that right in the description, but they have a steady operation of, education and retreats and all these wonderful things from ancient medicine that people can learn from. So thank you so much. Okay, Stephanie, I believe.
Thank you. Thank you. I love what everybody has said today. This has just been an amazing conversation, and an important one, right? I mean, that's why we're all here. And I love that Dr. Pat was talking about getting out of your own way, because that's probably one of the biggest things. Is we all get in our own way. We get stuck in our heads. We get down on ourselves. We forget to do all the things that fill us with joy, as Gloria was talking about. And I think that's my most important message. And that's what I talked about in my talk, was making sure that we recharge that brain battery, that we put ourselves into action, because it's when we put ourselves into action that we're going to make progress and we're going to get the results that we want, whether that is, pants that fit better, or whether it is just feeling more joyful, getting a deep sleep, absorbing nutrients so that we feel our best, and clearing up brain fog, all the different things that we feel day to day, but really getting ourselves into action, and honoring ourselves and holding ourselves in the best intentions that we can. Because then if we make intentions and say, this is what I'm going to do today, and we hold ourselves to it, then we can smash all sorts of boundaries and fuel our bodies the way we want to, and our mind and our spirit at the same time. So thank you so much for having me here tonight. And yes, thank you everybody for all your stories that you've been able to tell us over the last few days. So thank you.
Lovely to have you here, Stephanie. Okay, who's next? Flavia.
Yes, thank you. Well, really brief, because again, I love most it's basically most shared, even though we could talk all night, right? But I just want, to remind, we are so powerful. I just want to be a reminder of the greatness we are as human beings and the power we have. As Dr. Pat said, and I don't know if those are exact words, but you are stronger than medicine, and that's true, absolutely. So I would highly recommend to find your own path. So you already mentioned some of it. Your own placebo, let's say, because many people say, that's a placebo. Yeah, that's what really makes us heal. So that's okay. The thing is that in the right or wrong world, they said it's right to heal with whatever medicine or this medication, but it's not right if it's a placebo. I mean, if the result works, who cares, right? So find your own way, your own style, because again, we don't like the same things. As with food also, there are some food or with energy or with elements, right, Joanna? I mean, it's a million variables that we'll have. So just find yours. My best recommendation is when you are on a healing process, don't listen to anybody, but the person that is surrounding you and is aligned to what you feel, that will work with you. Don't listen to, family opinions, recommendations, because if you really feel that's the way you're going to heal, then that's where you co-create miracles with your therapist or your doctor, right? So I just want to invite everybody to open your mind to miracles. Some people ask me how, and I just say, just open your heart to change your beliefs, your paradigms, your thoughts, and then you will create miracles. So again, that's basically it. I just want to give we know we have to go to the Spanish one, but I really want to thank also the opportunity of being here and just to leave everybody with a really really valid hope, because they say you just sell hope, and I always say, yeah, there is hope, like a real hope, if you want to believe it. So just believe it, and you will cure depression or whatever is in your way if you really treat it that way. So thank you so much, you all.
Thank you, Flavia. And you can find Flavia on Instagram as Energy and Self-Healing, right?
And in Spanish, yeah, with energía y autosanación. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Thank you. Now with the angels, with Tammy and angels.
Gracias a todos. Y bueno, si tú estás pasando por una depresión en este momento, o alguien
English,
está pasando.
Sammy.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The last part was Spanish. I'm sorry. If you are going through a depression in this moment, or somebody that you love is going through a depression in this moment, or somebody just around you, it is a depression, and you don't know how to deal with this, well, here is a solution in many ways. And I just want you to know, and the angels want you to know, that you are not alone. You are never alone. You come for at least with two angels that are your team. When you land in this planet, you land with a team. You land with a team. I'm sorry for my English. But you have all these resources. You got the tools, the needs for managing this lifetime, including the sad moments, including the depression, including everything. You just need to reach out. And you have those angels that are giving you the extra tools. So it's up to you. You just need to give out the first step. The first step, it doesn't mean that, okay, I'm cured and I'm healthy. No, the first step is I want to feel good. That's it. I want to. And I'm accepting help. I'm accepting help for these wonderful professionals. I'm accepting help from my angels. I'm accepting. I deserve, because everybody deserves of this help. So please take this advantage of all these wonderful tools. Go to IAAAM, subscribe yourself, and be part of this wonderful team. So I see you in the Spanish one later.
Thank you, Sammy. Sammy and Angels on Instagram. I will ask anyone if you want to take a picture right now, because we're going to send this to our social team. If you want to keep this as a memory, it certainly is a beautiful moment. So at this point, we are closing our English panel. We want to invite you for our next. If you want to enjoy the Spanish version, it's been great. It's been beautiful. This is our second Congress, and we certainly are very, very grateful for all your help, participation, and all these will for bringing healing to all the people in this world. So that's it for now. Thank you so much. You want to wave your hands?
I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you very much. And we always welcome you to be with us. And I am. My name is Quique. Quique is a nickname, by the way, for Enrique. So Quique Posada, thank you. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now. Bye.